Okay, I am going home, coming back from Spider-Man Brand New Day. It is 4:45 in the morning. I went to a 2 a.m. showing. I had to see it in Dolby. I wasn't going to settle for anything less. I wasn't going to settle for anything less, and I wasn't going to settle for anything other than opening night. So I was really lazy with pre-ordering for this movie. I know it's Spider-Man, but when I tell you I have never seen demand like this before outside of, The Odyssey a couple weeks ago, but these two movies, guys, I have never seen demand like this in my life. I've been going to the movies a long time now, even at my still young adult age. I'm telling you, the demand for this movie, everything this weekend is gone. Everything in Dolby this weekend is gone. Every single fucking showtime. Every single one. It is crazy. The projections right now are extremely high. I know a lot of us were seeing like 800 million first week. That's not going to happen. No Way Home was 600 million. It's projected to be lower than that. But it's still going to be 400. I think it's going to pass it. I think it could hit 500. The demand, and I know I'm kind of contradicting myself because I'm basically saying the demand for No Way Home was higher. I wasn't in a big city during No Way Home, so you could still get, amazing seats. No problem. But once you start living in bigger areas, if you don't start capitalizing on these movies, it's going to get fucking taken from you. But the demand is crazy. The demand is crazy. So I knew, I have work in 4 hours. I dedicated to getting some sleep after work yesterday, so I don't feel as miserable right now. I'm pretty fine right now. The highways here are pretty nasty, but so adrenaline is definitely probably a factor. But anyways, let's get into the movie. Now that I've given you information nobody asked for. But I liked it. I do like this movie. I am not going to be one of the dweebs right now that says, oh, best live action Spider-Man. Well, no. Definitely not for me. That's definitely not the case. But I actually would respect it if someone said it was. I actually would. That's how much that's how much is going for this movie. It really, if I will say one thing, this is the most a Spider-Man movie has probably ever felt like a Spider-Man movie. Like ever. In terms of how he's moving, how he's swinging, how he's interacting with people. We got to talk about Destin Daniel Cretton. This guy is incredible. Short Term 12 was incredible. I've only watched a couple episodes of Wonder Man, but that did really well. I loved Shang-Chi when it came out. It wasn't perfect, but he has a flair to him. He has a directorial style. And when he was announced for this movie, I was so excited because he is everything that John Watts never was. As a whole, I still do love No Way Home, but as a whole, I do not consider that a successful Spider-Man trilogy. Now, once again, that is a very subjective subjective term. I'm not talking about how it was received by the audience, which was very well. I'm not talking about how well it did in the box office, which was also very well. I understand those things. But I rewatched Homecoming for the first time in years. I always liked it. I rewatched it again. I was like, I could barely get through it. I always thought Far From Home was just fine. And then No Way Home, while yes, there was nostalgia involved, I actually still thought it had some great things going for it. But as a whole, not a successful trilogy in my eyes. I feel like it stripped Spider-Man of so much of what we love him to be. And I'm very big on cinematography, and all of those movies looked very dull. The gray, muted palette, just anywhere and everywhere, and obviously with just how much, how many different things were going on in No Way Home. I mean, that is a very ugly looking movie in so many different parts. So I was not a fan of that. But when I heard that DDC was getting Spider-Man, I was very hopeful, because he's exactly the kind of guy you would have hoped for after coming from someone like John Watts, who just did not have a creative bone in his body. I mean, the most I felt like we ever got in creativity was that Mysterio sequence. But even then, that was more about Mysterio. That wasn't Spider-Man. So these are all just my opinions, guys. I couldn't do another John Watts movie, and when I heard he wasn't continuing, and I was just so happy. I couldn't do it anymore. This movie has a lot going for it. I mean, it's very vibrant. The color palette is very, very vibrant. It feels, I hate to say this, but I don't know how else to say it. It just feels like a movie. Like, I feel like I'm not watching manufactured, computerized slop. Like, I'm watching someone that has a lot of love and ideas, bright, innovative ideas for Spider-Man. I feel like I'm watching somebody that has no problem taking inspiration from other Spider-Man iterations. It was the action pieces were beautiful. The colors are beautiful. There's so much to love here, guys. The development of Peter's journey is actually very fluid from the last movie, and the emotional beats are super strong. There's a lot going for this. Sadie Sink was incredible. I feel like we all know who she is at this point. Maybe I just still put... Yeah, you know what? I want to talk about it for a little bit, actually. So I'm going to put a spoiler warning in my review. But her as Jean Grey, look, as long as you're giving a great performance, I really have no issues with it. I really don't know all that they plan to do for the X-Men, but I actually think that was a great start. I really do. I think a lot of problems that we all probably can agree on for this movie, which, there's not a lot of problems, but it is still an MCU product. It's still an MCU property, and you're always going to have business ways of thinking for your universe. And with something as big as Spider-Man, I'm trying to think from a corporate standpoint. You're just going to try and introduce new teams, new universes through your biggest property. I mean, this is going to make comfortably over $1 billion. I get it. I don't love it, I don't really like that it has to happen, but I understand where they're coming from. I really do. And I hate saying that. I really, really hate saying that. But this was a good movie. I know I'm going to be missing out on a lot. I thought The Punisher, I thought Frank, I did think he was actually good for the most part. I was terrified with how we've seen him just from Daredevil, from his own show. I was terrified in just a traditional MCU property, how neutered he was going to be, but no, he had a pretty good script. You really didn't feel like he was unrecognizable from who he has been. Definitely telling a little more jokes, which, once again, it was nowhere near as blistering as I thought it was originally going to be. Guys, it was so great to see Hulk again. And when I tell you, yes, we're making a spoiler warning, but even though it was so short-lived, which is fine, because this is a Spider-Man movie. This is supposed to be Spider-Man. But I can't explain to you in words how great it was to actually see, like, true angry Hulk again. Even if it was for just a couple minutes. I'm like, wow. What a fresh breath of air. And it's disturbing. A couple things are disturbing. It's disturbing how long it's been since we've seen Hulk in his true form. And it's also disturbing that it's taken this long to feel like you're watching a real Spidey film again. Like, that this is really Peter's journey of discovering himself more and learning what he should and shouldn't do on how he goes about things and coping with this loneliness. I think it's telling a beautiful message, especially to younger generations, about really reaching out. And I don't feel like I actually don't feel like it was too on the nose. I really don't. I don't feel like it was too on the nose in terms of reaching out to people and putting yourself out there. This was a good script. I'm very surprised when I saw Chris McKenna and Eric Summers were still writing. I'm like, damn it. But what's that one guy's name? The guy who wrote Challengers? Justin something. Once they brought him on, I'm like, okay, this still has a fighting chance. And it had more than that, guys. This was a great time. I was very pleased. One thing I've been like really big on is, Spider-Man being by himself. So many characters, all these characters. When I actually tell you that it did not bother me, guys, when you're writing characters well, when the characters feel more seamlessly into the story, which these characters did, nobody is going to have a problem. It's not complicated. Just give people a purpose for these characters. Bruce was actually very important, even with how little he was in. There's something that Peter is trying to figure out, and Bruce actually helps him with that. Frank, extremely helpful, very much needed. So, that's all I ask for. Like, that is all I ever ask for. If you're going to include a bunch of characters in a movie, give them a purpose. I don't want them standing around just saying, yeah, I'm here, and here's my little one-liner or two, and No, it had purpose. I'm very, very grateful for what I watched. Is it the best thing I've ever seen? Is it the best Spider-Man film? No, no, and no. But there's a lot going for this. I'm very happy about it. And regarding the X-Men, once again, I'm not really looking too far into... You just take what you get at this point when it comes to the comic book genre. I think you're doing yourself a little bit of a ignorant disservice if you're constantly trying to still hope that, you know, we can keep building towards something and consistent great film after consistent great film. That hasn't happened in many, many years now. I'm not going to give any reason to believe that something has suddenly changed. I think Doomsday looks awful. So, but Destin Daniel Cretton is a great director. He's proved it many times at this point. I knew he was going to give us something to enjoy, and he did. So regarding the X-Men, whatever they do with them, I really don't care. It's just about one solid film at a time. If I can take something from an X-Men film, that's incredible. If I can get anything close to what I just watched this morning, I will take it. I will take it. But let me know your guys' thoughts. I really enjoyed my time. And I think everyone should be very, very proud. Can I also mention how relieving it was to just see MJ actually out of the whole tomboyish experience, seeing Zendaya actually dressed up in this character, and you know, she's an adult. That was so refreshing to me. Guys, I've never been too big on Ned. I actually think, I think he's had great moments, but Ned as a character in this also, not bad at all. Not bad at all. Guys, just a solid film all around. It's really solid. I keep thinking about Sadie. She brought an incredible performance. That was an amazing, amazing, amazing performance. What a home run casting. Home run casting. At the end of the day, I don't care as much about age. I don't care about much of anything other than, can you give a great performance? Can you book it and run with it and give me something give the people something that we all are very engaged in? And guys, what a casting. She needs her flowers. Everyone did great. So many great things going for this movie. I'm very happy that it exists. I can't wait for you guys to see it. Let me know your thoughts. Spider-Man fans, we won. We won. And it's been a long time coming.